Good morning, this is Miss Lally, and today is Friday, April 26th, and it's a beautiful morning. Big things happening in our area. We got the Something in the Water Festival and a lot of the local happenings happening this weekend. But in my part of the community, in the neighborhood, I want to focus on this issue right here. Well, right here, I cut this off of my apple tree. I'm just trying to see if I can this right here. I cut this off my apple tree, so I'm just trying to see if I can root this. But it's these two right here. So probably around 6-7 o'clock, somewhere around there, I'm looking over my garden, and let me show you. So last year I threw a whole lot of sunflower seeds all in this area right here, because this is where I had my sunflowers growing last year. And so there are actually some that have come through. So you got that one there, that's come through right there. You got two that popped up right there. Okay, so back over here, so I'm looking around in my garden, just looking at if there's any new damage from that I may not have spotted yesterday morning when I was looking. And I happened to look and saw these two just laying on the ground. And they did not look like this. They did not look like that. They were, I guess the word is wilted. They look very weak. And I was like, oh no. So what I think happened is birds pulled them out of the ground. But fortunately, they weren't, I guess, severed from their roots. So the roots were still intact. So because I had this sitting over here in some water, I figured I would just come and stick them in the water. So they've been in the water overnight and look like they've bounced back. So I'm going to stick them back in the ground. But actually, I was going to actually stick them back over there. But I think I'm going to put them in front of my garden. So I have these sunflowers here, and they're leggy. But I'm going to stick them in front of my garden in hopes that, they'll survive and grow and will provide some shade for my garden. So that's my plan, is I want to grow sunflowers in the front of my garden so that when the morning sun, not the morning sun, but with the afternoon sun gets going around 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 o'clock, when late June, all of July, August, and September come. That's when stuff over here starts getting a little fried, or just really taking on a lot of that summer heat, that they'll have some relief. Since sunflower, this last year I noticed that the sunflower didn't mind the heat. So I'm gonna see if this will work for me. And I already planted some sunflowers seeds over here, and they came up. This is my mouse trap. Nothing, I guess, has come over here rodent wise. I'm hoping they moved on, because I came out this morning, I didn't see no new damage. I don't think I did. So here's a sunflower there. Let's see. Yeah, that one came up, and this one right here. So they're on the corner of my garden, that maybe they'll, provide a little shade for when I have some tomatoes come up that I'll have on this cattle panel right here. And I'm going to plant sunflowers right here where I already have one. I planted a seed, and that one right there came up. So I'm going to plant the other sunflowers along in this area. And so my garden hopefully will be shaded during the heat of the summer. Hopefully. We shall see if my plan works. Okay, so here's what I have. Now, to give you I guess a disclaimer about these that I planted, this one, and these two right here, compared to this one, this was a seed planted in the ground and it's coming up. The rest were seeds that I planted in the Jiffy pellets, or Jiffy, not pellets, the Jiffy pods, and they struggled while in there, and they got leggy, and so that's why the stems look like they do. So my hope is that now that they're in the ground, they'll be getting more nutrients. So today we're expecting a storm to blow through. They're saying it's going to be gusty winds. These sunflowers have been outside for a couple of weeks now, or longer, so they are used to the elements. So hopefully, just being in the ground and being exposed to the more nutrients in the ground, the earthworms, and the poop that they put out, the minerals in the soil and whatnot. Hopefully, they'll bounce back from, well, not bounce back, but they'll do better now that they're in the ground. So I'm getting ready to go get the other two that were pulled up, and I'm going to plant them somewhere here in front of my garden, and I hope that they'll take too. Gentle. I heard that sunflowers don't like to be, I guess their roots don't like to be messed with. I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't know. I mean, they bounced back from last night. I mean, this sunflower did not look like that. I mean, you could just clearly tell that that's another thing. I think it got pulled out of the ground in the heat of the day. So, or it could have been in the morning. So the sunflower spent the whole day out of the ground, and the leaves were wilted and everything. So I was hoping that this would, come back, and it did. It really came back really well. I have to move this pot. I was digging right here, but there's like a tree root. I don't know where the root coming from. I know they're gonna be kind of close, but yeah, look at that, sitting right in there, sitting right in there. Sunflowers like, that's right, put me back. I'll stand up on my own. This one too, they both were just probably laying out there in the heat of the day and just look spent. And so I was hoping putting the roots in some water would revive the sunflower, and it did. So I'm happy to see that. So hopefully these will grow up and provide shade for all of my peppers. The peppers are doing pretty good. So they're back in the ground. So back to what they know. This is what they started out in. So they in this pretty much the same area. Look at that, a grub. And these things can move. Those grubs, because I moved this pot once and there was one underneath there. Look at it, already trying to burrow back into the ground. Whatever you're going to turn out to be. In there with his friends. Okay, so got sunflowers now, somewhat going along the length of the front of the garden. So sunflowers there, and over here. And the hope is that they will shade my garden. Yeah, the sun could just be, it gets really hot, and some stuff that I grow, I think it would do all right in partial shade. Even though some stuff say full sun, I think some things would do all right in partial shade, yeah. Because morning sun hides behind that tree, and then it starts to come out, and we get afternoon sun, but the tree shades the garden in the morning, and then that sun travels along, comes this way, and then usually around about 12 o'clock the sun is behind that tree when it's facing towards my backyard, and then it comes from behind that tree. Well, actually depends on the time of year. It may be behind that tree, but it could be higher than the tree. And then, well, actually, I do think it is higher than the tree. And then it's just full sun. Full sun. And when the sun sets, it is usually about right there over our house. When the sun sets, it's going down right about right there. And so it's just full blazing sun. And when it's like when it's like 85, 90 something, 95 degrees in the summer, the heat is merciless out here. And this part of my garden gets no shade. No shade here. No shade here. The pine tree that we used to have right here by my blue bin, that's gone. So none of this area gets shade in my backyard. It is just wide open, full-blown sun. So that's why I think I'm going to have to move those 3 coleus plants, because they don't look like they're going to be able to tolerate that kind of heat. Okay, so I'm going to clean up my mess out here. I'm going to put these barriers back up so that nobody just come walking over here, and hopefully rodents won't, it'll block rodents from coming over here, whatever is coming after my garden. I only think I see one incident so far. I don't see no holes. I see that little dark spot right there. That looks kind of fresh. But everything else looks the same as the day before, and that deep hole is still over there. And these strawberries, I mean, these strawberries have really gotten tall. They were taking off over here. You know, came over into my little walking path. There go one right there. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of strawberry. I'm not what kind, but how big these strawberries will get. So, all right, it is Friday. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. We're going to get this storm come through. And so today was a great day for me to plant these sunflowers out here. This is what I say in my video. We get about 3-4 weeks. So I'm thinking when I made that video, that was probably week. Was that week 1 or week 2? But this is what's happening. So we don't get them that often. I mean, that long, I'll say. See. So, thanks for watching and have a great day. They're so pretty.